Hello, my name is Trash Elemental, and this video is going to be a showcase of some of the weapons, tools, enchantments, and consumables that will be available in a mod that I'm working on called Blood Moon Rising. If you're interested in learning more about this mod, everything that I'm covering in this video will be playable in a demo that you can download in my Discord server, which will be linked in the description, and I've also created a wiki on GitHub that has more information. So first off, the weapons. The first one we'll be covering is called the Butcher's Cleaver. This is an axe-like weapon. And as you attack with it, it will build up blood on the blade, and once it is fully full, which as you can see is indicated by the icon changing, you can actually use it to give yourself some resistance and strength for a short time. The jaw blade is very similar in that it builds up power as you attack with it. Should not have broken that fence. And since it is a faster attacking weapon, it does take more attacks to fully charge it up. So you can see there we've reached the first stage. And there's that. So once you have the jaw blade fully charged up, you can use it to give yourself an effect that is called Berserk. This effect gives you essentially the equivalent of haste, strength, and speed. And the special thing about this is that it lasts for as long as you continue to slay enemies. So you can see if I just sit here, it starts to run out. But if I continue to slay enemies, the effect is extended. So as long as you can keep attacking, you can keep yourself really powerful. But once that effect wears off, you will get exhaustion, which is essentially the opposite of everything that you were given. So you want to make sure that you can keep that effect going for as long as possible. The last one is called the War Ham. This is also an axe-type weapon, technically. It doesn't have any special mechanics around attacking with it. However, if you're missing any health, or not health, but hunger, you can actually eat the weapon to consume some of its durability and give yourself back a good amount of hunger. Now, the other two weapons that we're going to talk about today revolve around the new mechanic added by this mod called Hemorrhage. This is essentially a bleeding mechanic. So each time that you would apply Hemorrhage through an attack, it will check and see if the mob already had any levels of Hemorrhage, and if it did, it will bump it up to the next level. Once you reach level 3, it will deal 20% of that mob's maximum health as immediate damage to it and give it a short little debuff. That damage is capped at, I believe, 15, so that it doesn't get too powerful against any boss-type mobs that might be vulnerable to potion effects. So the Sacrificial Dagger is based around Hemorrhage to an extent. You'll see right now the blade is fully dry. However, if I use it, I will deal some damage to myself and wet the blade with blood. So please excuse my clunky keyboard. As I attack with this weapon, you'll see as long as it has some blood on the blade, there is a chance for it to give Hemorrhage, which gets quite high as the blade is more covered. But you'll see as I continue to attack, it will slowly dry. And you'll also notice it deals less damage the drier it gets. So when it is like this, fully dry, it only deals about as much damage as a stone sword. You see it takes quite a few hits to kill that Zoglin. However, when it is fully wet, in addition to applying Hemorrhage, it also deals drastically more damage. The amount of damage that is dealt to you when you replenish the points that this weapon uses scales with how wet it is, essentially. So you see, while it's fully wet like this, it barely dealt any damage to me. However, when I get it slightly dry, I'm going to regret this. As I was saying, when I get it slightly dry, you see it deals more damage to me. And as we saw earlier, when I fully have it dry, it deals about 4 hearts worth of damage. The other weapon is the Sacred Spear. Those of you who have played Elden Ring might have their ears perk up when you hear that. This weapon is essentially a trident in that it has a very slow melee attack speed, but pretty high damage. However, unlike a trident, you don't throw the weapon directly. When you use it, it actually launches a projectile. This projectile by itself has about a 50% chance to inflict hemorrhage, so it's quite a powerful weapon. And also, it has a special ability. So this is where the Elden Ring reference comes in. If you use it while you're crouching, you will start charging up an incantation, and when you release it, you will instantly deal level 3 hemorrhage to all entities within range. This excludes tamed pets, so don't worry about that. And it will heal you if you are hurt. If you're at max health, it will give you some absorption hearts. And it will cover the blade with blood. Now, until I use all the points, I cannot use that attack again. But on the bright side, while the blade is covered in blood, any projectile or melee attacks that you make do not consume durability. And it also gives you a heightened chance to inflict hemorrhage with your melee attacks and also your projectile attacks. So you'll see once I make about 10 attacks total, all of those points will be gone and I can use the attack again. And also, if you want, you can annoy your friends by doing this. Alright, that was the weapons. So let's talk about the enchantments really quick. The first one is Jagged Edge. This is essentially just an easy way to inflict hemorrhage. Each of your attacks that you make while a weapon has this enchantment have a heightened chance to inflict hemorrhage. And at max level, which is 3, this gets up to about 60%. The second one is called Adrenaline Rush. This will cause you to deal more damage while you're at low health. So if I set my maximum health to 6, which is 3 hearts, you'll see that I start to deal more damage with this. So normally it would take quite a few hits to kill a husk with a wooden sword, but with this, it takes 3. And this actually continues to scale as you go lower in damage, so if my max health is only 2 hearts, the damage increases further, and if it's only 1 heart, it goes even higher. The last enchantment is called Last Stand, and it is essentially the inverse of Adrenaline Rush, and then instead of dealing more damage as you get low on health, you will actually take less damage. So this husk here, attack me please, normally does 3 damage to me per attack, which is 1.5 hearts. However, if I reduce my health down to about 6, you'll see that this Last Stand 3 chest plate will cause me to take much less damage. So you see that only did 1 damage to me. Now this relies on 2 things. Number 1, it cannot reduce the damage you take below 1, so it doesn't make you invincible. And also the damage has to come from an attack. You can see if I take fall damage, it is not reduced. Alright, now that we've talked about the weapons and enchantments, let's talk about the tools that are added by this mod. I call them tools because they do have a combat function, but they're not used for attacking enemies directly. This first one is the Fleam. A Fleam is a type of bloodletting tool, and when I use this, it will actually deal some damage to me and spawn a morsel. These guys are essentially little homunculi that will attack your enemies for you. They don't have much health, but they're quite fast, and they can easily overwhelm an enemy if you spawn an entire mob of them. If you run out of health to spawn these enemies, it won't kill you, but it will send you a message that says that you don't have enough health to spawn them. They'll last for quite a while. They will eventually despawn. However, if you decide that you don't want them around, or if you want to recoup some health and hunger that you spent on making them, you can walk up to one and interact with them to eat them, you monster. And if you have a bunch spread around, and you don't want to walk to them all individually, you can crouch use the item to immediately consume them all. The other tool added by this mod is called the Sanguine Chalice. Now this is a cup that will fill up with blood as you kill enemies. It takes about 12 total to fill it up completely. And you'll see once I use it, if I'm missing any health, it will give me a good amount of healing. But if I'm already at full health, it will give me some absorption hearts. Now that's good by itself. However, this also has some special effects. If you use the item while you have a potion in your offhand, it will actually take the contents of that potion and store it in the chalice. So now that I've used a potion of strength on that, if I use the chalice, it will give me strength in addition to the healing and absorption. Right. This works no matter how many effects are in the potion. So, for instance, this potion of the Turtle Master here, you'll see the message that shows up only displays the first effect, but it will give you every effect in that potion. So if I use it now, you see it gives me the same effects as a potion of the Turtle Master. Alright, that's all of the tools that are in the demo at the moment. However, there are some consumables left to cover. These are one-time use items that have a specific function. The first one is the bolus. The spray for this is kind of ugly right now. I'm working on a new one already. This is essentially a more powerful bone meal, but it also has some other functions as well that you'll see. You'll see if I use this, it pretty much instantly fully grows any crop that I used it on, and it even works on netherwort. But I can also use this as a universal food item for animals. You can see that I can use this to instantly breed these 2 cows. And also, if I use this on a baby mob, it will instantly make it fully grown. And you'll notice how these cows just bred. So normally they wouldn't be able to breed for quite a while, but if I use this now, I can cause them to breed immediately again. So this is essentially a superfood and bone meal alternative rolled into one. The other 2 items are based around spawning mobs. This first one is the multiplying morsel. You'll remember those morsels that we saw from the fleam earlier. This is essentially a consumable item that allows you to spawn some. This is a food item, but instead of restoring hunger, it will actually drain some and use that to spawn a morsel or 2. This time we only got 1, but sometimes you can get 2. Right, and just like with the fleam, if you want, you can eat these guys to get rid of them and recoup some of that hunger that you used. The other consumable is called the parasite eggs. When you use these, it will drain some of your health to spawn 1 of 2 mobs. If you're outside the water, it will spawn some mosquitoes. These guys will automatically hunt down any hostile mob. They will attack it once and then they'll return to you. You can see after that mosquito attacked, its abdomen became filled with blood. Once they return to you, if you were missing any health, they will restore about 3 health to you, and it takes 1 health to spawn them, so if even one of them gets back to you, you'll be getting back more than you spent. But if I use the parasite eggs in the water instead of on land, instead of spawning mosquitoes, I will spawn leeches. These guys do the same thing, but they swim pretty much. The other 2 consumables are called the Bottle of Ichor and Bottle of Chrism. With the former being an imperfect version of the latter. These 2 are essentially health potions. When you use a Bottle of Ichor, it will give you some instant health. However, it will also give you Hunger 2 for 15 seconds, and it has a chance to give you Weakness 2 for 7 seconds. The Bottle of Chrism will just give you a full heal if you're missing any health. And if you're already at full health, it will give you some absorption for 30 seconds or until those bonus hearts wear off. However, these do have one more function. If I have a tool like the Butcher's Cleaver that relies on building up blood on the blade to activate an effect, I can use a Bottle of Ichor in the offhand to partially fill it up. With the Bottle of Ichor, it takes about 2 uses to fully fill the item. However, with a Bottle of Chrism, I can use it to instantly fill it all the way up. Whether or not a full health potion is worth doing that is up to you, but you can use it that way. Aside from those, there are also some new food items that are added. Currently, all of these are unobtainable in survival. You'll have to get them from the creative menu. However, those that are just cooked versions of normal items can be cooked already. So the first is the cooked heart. That just restores some health whenever you eat it. The second is the cured heart. The finished mod will add a way to essentially dry out meats and make jerky. If you do that to a heart, then you'll get a cured heart, which will give you regeneration. A heart of gold will give you some absorption when you eat it. Exalted flesh will be a common drop from most of the mobs that are added by this mod that can be cooked into cooked flesh. Exalted flesh has a 60% chance to give you strength 2 when you eat it, but also a 60% chance to give you hunger 3. By cooking that or curing it, you can decrease the effect, but also make sure to avoid any potential downside. So if I cook it, I can get a cooked flesh that will just give you strength for 10 seconds. If I cure it, I can get a cured flesh that gives you resistance for 15 seconds. There will be also a way to get consecrated flesh. When you eat it, you will get Berserk, which is the effect that is applied by the Jawblade for a full 12 seconds. So you can use that to instantly set yourself into a Berserk and start mowing down enemies to keep that going for as long as possible. And the last one is jerky, which is just a normal food item. It doesn't have any special effects, however it does add a good amount of saturation when you eat it. There are also 4 new potions added by the mod currently. 2 of them are just for vanilla effects, however there are 2 completely new ones. Health boost can be gotten by brewing a heart, and it will give you just 4 max health. It's the health boost effect from vanilla Minecraft. The other one is absorption. When you drink it, it will give you some absorption hearts. Health down is gotten by brewing a potion of health boost with a fermented spider eye. It does what it sounds like. It reduces your max health instead of boosting it. And the last one is corrosion. This one, when you drink it, is almost the opposite of the resistance effect. It causes you to take more damage from all sources instead of resisting it. And also, if you're wearing armor and you take damage, it will cause your armor to take an additional 2 points of durability damage. And that is everything that is currently in this demo version that is out. Once again, if any of this piqued your interest, please do head down to the Discord to check it out for yourself. I would love to hear some feedback, as this is quite a large project and I'm handling it all by myself. There is a lot more planned, as you can see. We've covered maybe 50% of the stuff that I have in my testing area here, but that will all be coming in the future. I don't really have a solid release date on this. I'm just one guy, so this will probably take me quite a while, as we've covered maybe 10% of what will be in the finished version. But yeah, if any of this piqued your interest, please do feel free to head to my Discord and download it for yourself, and leave any comments or feedback that you have. I'd love to hear what you think is good, bad, overtuned, undertuned, etc. That's pretty much everything. Feel free to follow this channel for future updates on this. I will try to release more videos as I come out with more demo versions of this. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed everything, and goodbye.